absolutely fucking rough, but just getting over the flu. Getting over being the Q word. So I might sound stuffy and I might have to cough on you occasionally, but I am on the mend. I hope every one of you are having a gorgeous holiday. Um, I don't know how many people will even be on, given the fact that it is Christmas, the whole holiday thing. Um, but I did want to kind of go everywhere at one time, and this app lets me do that and just say, hope your day is fabulous. I hope you get tons of love and you get to be with people that you love. Um, we did not have a white Christmas here. We had a cold freaking Christmas. It's like raining. And so, yeah, which I'm kind of glad it's not snowing. Don't get me wrong. I love snow. It's beautiful. I'm one of these people that can just watch it forever. However, it's cold and I don't do good in cold. I'm just not one of those people. Um, so I hope you all have a blessed holiday. Have an amazing day, period, if you don't celebrate it. Um, and just enjoy it, and don't take anything for granted. I mean, even the people that don't celebrate Christmas, and I don't celebrate it in the traditional sense, um, just take the time to realize what it's, well, at least in my point, about. I mean, it's winter, things are dying, things are cold, but there's also the promise that spring's going to come and everything's going to come back beautiful and it's going to be amazing. And so, just kind of, for me personally, this time of year, I kind of do a lot of deep reflection on aspects of self that I would like, just like, the winter season, to to die away. And I think of the things I would like to replace them with. And I just kind of use it a lot to do a lot of self reflection, shadow work, healing work on self, so that, we can become better people because that is kind of the end goal. I don't care who you are or how spiritually advanced you are, you always got work to do. You know, we all do. None of us are ascended or we would not be on this planet. So there's always room for improvement. I don't care, like I said, who you are. Um, you got your bone. My friend brought Luca a toy, and he's kind of shredded all of the stuffing out of it. He's he's very destructive pupper, but excuse me. I did just want to say hi, and I am alive. I am on the mend. So I'm gonna get off of here. I did decide to make a turkey. I'm not making anything but a turkey because my neighbors gave me a huge one, and my son was supposed to come and hang out. Hey, hey, Miss Lopez. I hope your hot Christmas went gorgeous. But I gave my son the flu that I had, so I told him, I said, I'm just starting to get better. I adore you, but please stay away. I don't want to. I don't want to relapse. I don't want it again. So he's at his place, and we're just going to kind of meet up in a few days. And I'd already laid out a turkey because we decided we were just going to fucking have turkey sandwiches. You got a potty? But yeah. So I kind of put that on. I was gonna cook it, and then when we decided last night he was not gonna come, I was like, I don't have to get up early in the morning and make everything else. So made it very easy for me. Mine, I cannot complain. I had visitors that come yesterday, friends that actually gave me gifts, and I wasn't planning on anything. And honestly, the only person I got anything was my son, and he's still 17, so he's still like a kid. Um, Not a little kid, but he's still a kid. But I got a bath kit, which I adore because it's got the bath salts and all, but really help because with RA and lupus and fibro, it's kind of body ache central endlessly. So I got an amazing bath kit, and I got this poster that has all of the moon phases for the upcoming year. And I got a coffee mug and coffee because I'm a coffee whore. And cookies to go with my coffee. So that was nice. Still have not got my energy up to par. I'm staying exhausted endlessly. But I am on the mend. I can actually breathe through my nose today. Not too much, because if I blow it, blood shoots everywhere because they got me on Sudafed. So, yay. It's slimy, buddy. It's slimy. You want to show your bone? My friend gave Luke this little toy. He's like, mine, Mom. I don't want to play the fetches, big dog. Get the ounce. Get the ounce. He's so rotten. So, yeah, Luke and I will be having turkey because like I said, I realized when son wasn't coming, I didn't have to cook it early. And so I just basically put it on at 2 o'clock. And my neighbors had gave me about a month ago this fucking huge turkey. It's like 24 and a half pounds. Yeah, I was sick. I had the flu. They had to do a 10-day quarantine, which it was preemptive. They were just basically doing it so they could guarantee that it wasn't COVID. And it was just, well, they said I tested positive for influenza B. To me, I had influenza B last year also. And it didn't feel as severe. There were like 2 days that were really, really bad. But now, like I said, I'm on the mend. So I've just been for the last really week and a half, 2 weeks, just quarantining, watching a fuck ton of old movies. I don't want to play the fetch with the bone. You go play with it. You do your thing. They're your toy. You have fun with it. I know, poor you. Just not center attention to all. But yeah. Still have not had. Yeah, I still have not had a cigarette. I quit smoking December the 4th. So that has been interesting. And I never really realized how much time smoking took, because I can't smoke in the house. So I would have to go outside and sit outside. And oh my gosh, there's so much empty time now. And it's kind of mind blowing, because I didn't think about how much time I really put into it and how much money I put into it. I mean, obviously I knew smoking is not a cheap habit these days. But I mean, it's crazy. And so it's a good thing I did quit. The doctor actually said that probably played into one of the reasons that I got influenza B. Not saying that smoking's a bad thing, but with me, every time I try to quit, my lungs are so susceptible to infections and things that when you quit, your body starts purging itself of the toxins and all of this, and your lungs start cleansing themselves, whatever the word is, fuck English. And so I had all that stuff breaking up and all the mucus and all anyway. So it just kind of made my lungs already a little funky. So yeah, it kind of blew my mind I got sick, because I have got like so many precautions in place. I don't really go outside. Thank you very much. Happy holidays back to you too, Adam. But I just kind of yeah, I adore it because I love old movies. So I watched, because I have the on demand on my cable, I watched like so many of the movies on Turner Classic Movies. So I got to see like The Preacher's Wife. I got to see the original Yours, Mine, and Ours with Lucille Ball. Pocket Full of Miracles, which is one of my favorite movies of all times. I got to watch Arsenic and Old Lace, all these old original movies with these people that really made film back in those days, you know? So it was really enjoyable just to kind of stretch on the couch in my fuzzy pajamas and fuzzy blankets and have my have all my my simplify life things like tissues and things close by, and just fucking just really relax and mellow. And thought it was really cool too because was flipping through the channels, and my grandmother, when she was alive, she had this thing she adored. You know, where I'm from the South, and music, even if you're not really Christian, the old school hymns and Christian music really, it holds a place in you. I mean, even me, I don't identify as Christian, but if I hear some of those songs, it takes me back to this place, you know. And I was flipping through the channels late at night. I mean, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning probably, and there was a music special on, and it was so nice because it was, my grandma used to love this group called the Gaithers. And it's not even really like a musical group as much as the Gaithers themselves. The family actually get all of these old religious groups in playing. And I just kind of got locked in. I ended up watching it. I thought it was really cool because one of the groups that I do love, which are, sorry about yawning, I'm still healing. But one of the groups that I really do love, they're called the Fairfield Four, and there's actually 5 of them, so I don't know why it's 4. But they're completely a cappella, and they're probably between 70 to 90-year-old beautiful black men who get on stage and sing in overalls, and they harmonize so beautifully. And I remembered my grandmother. You know, I probably was pregnant with my oldest daughter, so we're talking like a quarter of a century ago. I remember being pregnant, and because I was having twins and it was high risk, I would go to her house and I would stay because everybody around me worked swing shift, and there was so much weight on my spine carrying the twins that they would roll over and it would hit a nerve, and I would just go numb from the waist down and have to lay in the floor till the babies moved again. And so I would go to my grandma's and she would watch these specials, and Fairfield Four would come on and she would actually get up and dance a jig, and she would be all into it, you know. And so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying on the couch. Fairfield Four comes on, and instantly I'm just back, you know, good God, 26 years ago in my grandmother's living room, watching her dance around, you know, to these beautiful voices. And it was beautiful. It made me cry because it was just a really happy moment, you know. I was alone except for my dog, but it was just a beautiful place to be in, you know, and to kind of just have those memories. It was nice. But now everybody in my family, except for my children, are dead. And my mother. You've tore all the fluff out of it, sir. Whatever are we going to do with your bone nail? You kind of ain't even throw it out anymore, sir. It has no weight to it. If I try to throw it, it's just going to fall on the floor. You took all the fluffs out. It's all over there and all on the couch. You have to not be so destructive. But my holidays have been nice. I mean, you know, I've been alone through 99% of it, other than maybe for an hour yesterday when I had, you know, the 2 visitors come drop in. Come on, buddy, get down. But it's been so nice because last year, you know, if you know me, Chris had just got out of the hospitals from having her series of strokes, and everything was just exhausted. We didn't even put up a Christmas tree last year. And so this year, I actually put one up. Hey, buddy, you got to move. You're like 80. Well, you're not 80. You're probably 60 pounds now. You're heavy. You're big. But yeah, it was nice. I put him a little tree up, and I decorated, and I listened to some old school Christmas music. It's wild. Hello, Grants Pass. I know you, damn you. But it's nice. I've really enjoyed it. You know, I used to get so pissed at Chris because she would say, Abby, you can't be alone. You don't know how to be alone. And I realized she was correct, even though I was kind of offended at the time. But, I think some of it is conditioned and some of it was because I did have a lot of things I needed to deal with internally and process as far as shadow work and healing that needed to happen. And over the last year, I've really done a ton of that. And it's wild because, yeah, I'm a little stir crazy now because I don't drive. I don't have a vehicle. And I literally leave my house for maybe 45 minutes once a month. Um, and so it's got the stir crazy aspect to it, but at the same time, I enjoy being able to go in my kitchen and know it's clean and no one's dirty dishes are in the sink. Or, if I set something down unless Luke gets it, it's in the same place. And my house stays pretty clean unless Luke shreds his stuffed toy and gets cotton everywhere and makes it look like, it snowed. But it's nice. I just go soak in the tub whenever I want to and put some music on, and I don't have to worry about anything. I cook when I want to eat. And that's another thing. I'm really starting to enjoy cooking again. For a long time, when the kids were here, it was, oh, well, this one doesn't like peppers, and this one doesn't like onions, and this one won't eat tomatoes. And, this one doesn't really like red meat, and this one's out for pork. There was so many limitations. And so when I would go in the kitchen to cook, it was not like something I really enjoyed as much as, okay, it's my responsibility because I'm a mom. But it was just a hassle because there were so many differences of tastes and allergies and everything that had to come into play. And now I can go in the kitchen. It's like the other day, I felt so bad that I gave no shits. I wanted something sweet. I went in the kitchen and made like peppermint bark, Buckeyes, which is like the peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate. And it felt so good just to have Christmas music on and to go in the kitchen and just fucking make whatever. Uh-huh. All on your time and time. Exactly. And it's the last year, my business situation has totally changed. I mean, yeah, I still do reads, but now I have a client that pays probably 80% of all of my monthly expenses. And so I don't have to kill myself to work, which has been really nice because it's been a hard one physically, because they did just diagnose me with fibromyalgia also because they were like, we wanted to get some blood panels without you being in an actual RA lupus flare to kind of get a baseline for you to see so we could have more information. Your grandma, I remember the first time I worked on you, I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this woman here following me around with cookies? I'm like in your space, in your head, and here's this woman with this big ass tray of cookies. And I'm like, wow, okay. It's so weird though, because I never know what I'm going to encounter or experience when I work on somebody. And one of the first things I say when I go into someone is I basically say a prayer that, my guides, their guides, any of our ancestors that want to come through, ascended masters, anyone, step forward that wishes to help with the process. And a lot of times I will actually delegate tasks to whatever individuals come forward because I feel like, if your ancestors and your family and your people that care about you help, they know your energy and they know you in a personal way that even though I'm inside of you feeling your energy, it's not the same. There's a degree of compassion and understanding. So I try to incorporate them into the work. And I believe it does kind of give it a better quality, And I love it because I've had so many people, once I get to that whole throat and heart and head and I'm bouncing back and forth, family starts coming in. And I've met so many characters that it's interesting. I remember I was working on one client one time, and it was so funny because I had no idea that they even knew who Mama Cass was. There was no connection. And this woman pops in and I'm like, she looks really familiar, you know? And I'm like trying to figure out who in the hell this woman is. And she starts singing and I'm like, sounds like that chick from the Mamas and the Papas, you know? I'm like, that's so weird. And she kept singing, but the things that she was singing was like all nursery rhymes. It was not any of like the Mamas and the Papas songs. And so, you know, I kind of got the giggles, and the woman's like, why are you giggling? And so I said, well, I kind of want to tell you who and what I'm seeing right now in your head. And it was so hilarious because she said, I know exactly who that is. And she said, right, my father worked with Mama Cass and the Mamas and the Papas, and they were very well acquainted with her. And she said that she actually made an album of nursery rhymes. And the reason I guess that she was coming through singing it is because at the time she released it, she was the same age as her daughter or something. It's been like 20 years, so I don't know. But there was, she understood completely why it was coming up that way. And she did know her. And so I'm like, fuck, yeah, this is cool. I met Mom Cass, and she serenaded me from the other side. Nursery rhymes. So it, I've met some really cool people. I've had the privilege of reading for a lot of people. And so, I mean, yeah. And it's weird because it's like I met Iggy Pop, and I don't really watch the news. I don't follow social media, so I don't really know who a lot of these people are unless they're like really big. And if I do see them, you know, it's like with Mama Cass, there's this whole, okay, wow, who is this individual? But I don't really like, oh shit, that's so and so, you know? And I remember apparently Iggy Pop, when he goes and he does work, he will go into towns. Like, say, for example, he was doing something in Portland, which is not too far from me. He actually will go get on the bus and just ride around to get a feel of the people in the area. And I went to get on the bus here because, like I said, don't drive. And I was like, oh, wow, he looks really familiar. And so I sat down in front of him because he was the only seat available. Excuse me. And we began talking. Yes, that's a good client. But we began talking, and when I got to my stop, he was like, do you mind if I just keep talking to you? And I was like, no. So we got off, we did what we had to do. We got back on the bus, and we rode the bus for most of the day, and I didn't even really know who he was until like the last probably 10 minutes we communicated. And he said, I want to give you something. He said, not a lot of people know that I draw, that I actually do art. And I was like, okay. And so he took out a drawing tablet that he was working with, that he was carrying around. And he said, this is yours. And he actually gave me a picture. So I have a picture that Iggy Pop drew and gave to me on a bus. And we had these really deep conversations, you know, and it's like I had no idea, but Iggy Pop and Johnny Depp are like best friends. And they ride motorcycles around Harley, you know, Harleys around Florida all the time. And it's just kind of like, I appreciate my work because I guess since I do see people on a soul level, the whole stars doesn't really fuck with me. You know, they're just normal people. And it's it's opened many doors where I've got to talk to many, many celebrities. Even now, I have like regular clients that are celebrities that are pretty freaking well known. And I've got to go to so many concerts for free because they're like, we're going to leave you tickets, you know? And I've got to experience a lot of things. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, I have been extremely blessed being able to do what I do. Extremely blessed. And I don't know. You know, it took me well over 40 years to be able to say I enjoy being me and I enjoy my life and I'm happy. And a lot of people really don't get to say that. A lot of people don't get to say, okay, well, I enjoy my work. Or, you know, I'm at peace, which I think is the biggest thing. And I do. So I enjoy the fuck out of being Abby. Oh my God. Ugh. I mean, it was a good nap. What is wrong? I went back. Now you do it with the other eye. It's okay. What is that, big boy? Do you want to get up here and say hi? You want to come up this way? Come here. Oh, you knocked the back scratcher off. Come here. You're going to tell him hi. I want you to come up here. Look. Look up there. Look. He's like, fuck you. This shift, he's been on your physical feels. Well, here's the thing, and I actually posted something on my wall about this. Everybody was like December 21st, December 21st. It wasn't even the 21st. It actually happened, the big one, yesterday, probably about 4 o'clock Pacific time. It's about 7 o'clock Eastern. And it was just like this whole wash. And I'll be honest, I was fearful for quite a while that we wouldn't, I guess you could say, pass the test. We wouldn't make it. And I ended up last night, I was like, fuck it. I haven't channeled in a while. And it got to the point before I got sick, I was trying to for at least an hour or two a day, because a lot of the things that I got for years, I just had notebooks full of notes, and now that I've actually been giving them to people that it's their area expertise, I've discovered a lot of those notes that meant nothing to me, that I had no comprehension of what the hell it was, actually make sense in the right hands. And so last night I was like, yesterday, it wasn't even night yet. I decided, well, I'm going to try to channel now that I'm feeling somewhat better. And oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. The things that was coming through, the transitions. And for the first time, I just completely felt like there was a peacefulness, and I remembered on Periscope, good God, back when all of this began with COVID, people were asking me questions about what would happen and how things were going to happen and play out. And, I have to admit, if you watch my videos, I was on fucking point. And one of the things I said is, and I didn't even get the details, as far as specifics. It was just coming through so quickly. So it was like I wanted to create touch points. I had said in one of the videos, the Democratic and Republican parties would cease to exist, because it was going to become about people and humanity. And when I was channeling yesterday, I got to see, for so long we had been taught not to feel. We had been put in this place where we wanted instant gratification because of all the technology we surround ourselves with. And we had been taught that complex feelings were wrong. We were taught to dumb down our emotions. And by COVID happening, as shitty as it was, it put us in a place where we had to quarantine. We had to really, because growth never happens in positive points. I know that sounds terrible, and I'm sure it does to a little bitty degree. But when you're in periods of oppression and, opposition, that's when most of the blessings really start to pour in. We may not understand it and see it, but it is. And I realized yesterday, because of all this quarantine and us being able to have to shut down, there's been so much massive self-work each and every one of us have done. And it's made us go through a lot of our own personal inner demons, excuse me, and to process a lot of the things, as far as hurts and traumas we had experienced in life previous to all this. And yeah, and another thing is, and this is something people don't understand too, when you are in a period, say for example, you're trying to do a lot of self-work. This is one reason when something negative happens to me or I'm sick, I will shut down and start doing massive amounts of soul work and, shadow work, because what happens is when that opposition and that negativity hits you, what it does is basically opens a floodgate so that you have complete access to everything previous that, you've been sitting on and not wanting to process. So I use those moments. That's why I say if something terrible happens, say, you lose a friend. In that moment, your mind starts taking you back to when you lost your grandmother, when you lost another friend, where you lost this, where you lost that. So all of those emotions from all of those instances rise to the surface. So that's the best time to work on them and heal them. It's not asking for misery or, trying to overdose yourself on negative. It's that the door is wide open for you to access these things, and it's the best time. And I realized because of this COVID quarantine, so many of us have done so much self work. And I figured we weren't going to make it. And I got to see yesterday in my channelings that, yeah, we are going to make it. And that, the way we know things to be, and I'm not saying this is going to be an instantaneous thing, as far as in America, the two-party system that we know is going to cease to exist. And the reason is because in this amount of time where we've had the downtime, we've allowed to develop compassion on a whole new level, not just for others, but for ourselves in ways that we have not on this planet seen in a very, very, very long time. And so it basically was the catalyst, the door opening for us to be able to become an, empathic spiritual person again. And, it's like I've said a gazillion times in my Periscopes previously, we're moving into a feminine society and culture. Even all my students, they preach it like crazy because it is the truth. For so long, the masculine energy dominated. And now we're starting to have compassion and understanding again. And that is really what was needed to move us into, the Aquarian age. And people dispute and argue about when the age of Aquarius genuinely started. Truths are being revealed. But, it's like, for example, everybody talked about the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incans, all these people. They said that 2000 was going to be the end of it. But you have to understand, in their societies and in their cultures, there was not a physical death. They looked at it as these transition points. And I, in a lot of ways, view it the same way too, because, as human beings living, we suffer death so many times. Not, well, physically, yeah, I'm talking about reincarnation, but I'm talking about just even in one lifetime. Because every time you transition to a new point or a new place or a new way of understanding, the old you is gone. It ceases to exist. What is there is a new awareness, a new you. And so that old you is gone. It's dead. And the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the Incans all believed in periods of transition. And they believed those transitions were deaths, And so when they were speaking about the end of humanity, they weren't speaking in terms as far as like humankind would cease to exist. They were speaking in terms of, the mindsets, the mental and emotional aspects of self that we're so acquainted with and have been for thousands upon thousands of years. They would cease to exist. And a new birth would take place within us, a new awareness. And so I really do believe that we are at a point. We're standing like on the edge. It's like the edge of a sword. The blade is so, so thin. And I believe, like I said, because I was fearful we weren't even going to make it. But I feel more optimistic after the channeling session yesterday than I have in a very long time. And it felt refreshing. It felt clean. It felt like invigorating. And it was just nice to be able to, I don't know. I could even see how like the younger ones, because they want to give people shit that are millennials. The fact is, these people have reasons to be pissed off. How would you feel if you wanted an education but you couldn't afford it? How would you feel if you wanted a family but you couldn't afford it? I mean, you go back to the 60s or the 70s, these people could work one job. They could have a stay-at-home spouse taking care of the children. You could manage, you could pay bills, you could go to college, have it paid off in 3 to 5 years. And you had time to get a career, It's ridiculous. It sucks. It's like even when I was at the doctor, I remember this doctor. There was this young guy. I mean, and this guy probably he was younger than 30. And he told the doctor, he said, I always was mesmerized by, immunity and, dealing with, immune compromised people, things like this. And he said, I would really love to go back to school and to study it and to basically be a rheumatologist or an immunologist. And I was so devastated. But the doctor looks at this guy and looks at, he's probably 30 at the oldest. And he says, don't do it. He said, it's going to take me till I'm 73 years old to pay for the college that I received. He said, I'm going to have to work till I'm 75. And he said, it's ridiculous. He said, what if I don't make it to 75? He said, don't. He said, unless you've got millions of dollars in the bank to pay for it cash out wise, don't become a doctor. And it was like he was literally shutting this man's dreams down. But I understood it wasn't from an asshole place. It was coming from a realistic place of way our world has became, I mean, when we have to look at people and say, don't go for your dreams because it's just not attainable because of the financial aspect. I know you want to help people, but it's not worth it because chances are you'll die before you pay it back. That was kind of like, for me, it was mind blowing, and you could see the guy as he's listening to this doctor just shut down. It's like you could see a shadow come over because it was just like the light went out a little. People shouldn't have to walk around like that though. I mean, that just fucks me up. All right. Well, guys, I am going to get off of here. I was not planning, excuse me, on being here nearly this long. I was just going to hop in and say Merry Christmas and I love all you people and happy holidays and I'm alive and I'm healing and all that good jazz. But I ended up talking because I got a big mouth and I got stuff to say. I always got stuffs. But it is the financial system. And the thing is, the more we work, the more money we make for them and the less money we have. And that's fucked. I'm about ready. We just need to pull guillotines out into the streets, It's mind blowing. But I just wanted to say hi. Say I love you people. My throat's starting to get itchy, so I've talked too much. I'm gonna get off of here. You're welcome. I had to come see my people. It was nice. I didn't figure that many people would be on, honestly. I'm surprised you and Tammy even popped in, but it was nice to see you people because I love you people. So feel free to come back at any point. Now that I'm feeling human, I'm going to be back on here. So share it out. Let people know I'm here. I love you people. Be good. Have a wonderful holiday. Be kind to yourself. Love you too.